Okay, y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kay, and I'm here today to bring you All American Season 6, Episode 5, Trust Issues. Y'all, I'm already feeling the way, already, on the first commercial break. And it's crazy because, like, what are they doing? Like, this whole football montage, like, I know I said I wanted more football scenes this season, but every football scene, I feel like that we've seen these first 5 episodes, I just be getting attitude because what is Coach Mac doing? Like, I need to know what the backstory is, and hopefully we get it this season. I don't know. But what is the backstory with Coach Mac and why he got beef with Spencer? Like, I know he kind of latched on to Jordan, but I don't know, like, what is he using Jordan for his ploy? Like, then all I heard was Coach Kenny was not here today. I'm just like, why Coach Kenny ain't there? Y'all say he got a family emergency, but is it truly a family emergency? Or is GAU playing with Coach Kenny and they said a family emergency? Because, you know, when it comes down to collegiate sports, they'll do anything shiesty and then blame it on a logical reason. And then people just roll with it and believe it. So I'm not saying that Coach Kenny didn't for real have a family emergency, but like, or was it a family emergency? You feel what I'm saying? Like, then, okay, when Coach Mac told Spencer to block and blitz, I don't know nothing about no football terms. I just know the basics. Touchdown, interception, fumble. That's it. But when you talking about blitz and Spencer not making his block, I just knew we was going to have a Derwin Davis moment when Derwin did not block for the quarterback on the game, and then the quarterback ended up getting his career ended because he got hurt because Derwin didn't do what he was supposed to do on the field. He was supposed to protect his man. He didn't. So I was just hoping that that was not the case. But Spencer did miss his block, and so Jordan threw an interception or something like that, and then Spencer had to go and tackle the dude. But then Spencer tackled the dude, and then it was considered targeting, and Spencer got thrown out of the game. So Spencer kept asking for the ball. And Coach was like, this is a team. We trying to distract them. We trying to win. And so now Spencer goes up to him and says, like, I was open. But the coach basically just blames Spencer for them losing the game. And that's wild, seeing as though, like, other things occurred in the game besides Spencer missing his block. I mean, like, Spencer had just scored. So, you know, and then, like, I have been seeing some people talking online, and there is some things I agree with. And one of these things is, now all of a sudden, you know, Spencer and Jordan beef pretty much every season. But now all of a sudden, Spencer has, like, for the first 5 seasons, Spencer has made everything about everybody else. And the one time he tries to hone in and target and work on his goals and focus on himself, he's now selfish. And I don't agree with that sentiment. I do not agree with that sentiment. I don't believe looking out for yourself and going after what you want is selfish. Especially when you put the team on your back, literally, like the season before, and tried to, like, cape for Coach Kenny getting head coach. You tried to support Olivia in her article, knowing that it would be detrimental to your football career and her brothers. Then he supported GAU, giving other players second chances. He basically helped Kenny recruit new players to the team to bring notoriety to the school. And now that they're in a good place and he's up for Heisman, now all of a sudden it's a problem because Spencer want to go to the pros. Yes, was him saying, oh, because he didn't get thrown the ball, and the whole thing about him being a Heisman contender and him declaring for the draft. Was that selfish in that moment? It was. Now, that was selfish. But everything leading up to that, Spencer had been doing basically for the team. And so now they don't want Spencer to be the go-to person. And now Jordan is Heisman contention. And this is like caused so much beef between them, so much tension. And then for Jordan to say, I don't know what's going on with you, but this is as selfish you have ever been. Like, so when you stop looking out for your homeboy though, I understand what Coach Mack is saying about the analytics, but like, y'all have a certain style of football play. I'm here for him changing and, you know, making certain moves. But when the play is the play and y'all need y'all go-to person in the clutch moment, why not give him the ball? He was open. Jordan got sacked, I think. Like, what was the harm in that? I just didn't see, you know, understand that. And so, Coop did mention while they was watching the game on TV that, you know, Patience hasn't been around because of, you know, her ducking Patience or like, you know, turning her down or whatever when she was drunk. And Olivia like tells her, you did the right thing, you know, y'all was under the influence. You shouldn't have done anything. Or whatever like that. And so, you know, Layla's still worried about the backlash from her bar or her lounge. And the video of Patience fight is still online, trending. So yeah, that's all that happened in the first part. I'll be back. Okay, so Ashley's a boy? Which I thought Ashley was a boy. But there was also a chance that Ashley was a girl and her and Liv might have been lovers. But Ashley being, first of all, Ashley, the guy who's playing Ashley, he played in something because he look and sound familiar, but it's not coming to me. It's not coming to me. But Ashley is fine. Dion is fine. We'll get to all that later. So, Ashley's a boy? Okay, see, now that makes sense about things that I was seeing on Twitter last night. I saw some people saying that Liv deserves to have a friend outside of the vortex. I think my first question is, from Layla and Jordan's interaction with finding out who Ashley was, I cannot believe that Liv didn't mention to anybody that Ashley was a boy. Or is a guy. And I'm not saying that Liv is doing anything sneaky or anything happened between her and Ashley, but this guy just flew 5,000 miles for you he will cross the ocean for you. He crossed the ocean for Liv, okay? The pond. He pure crossed it, okay? And he showed up to your door unannounced with a basket of English delectables. How he get that past customs, I don't know. This is interesting. So Liv is trying to set up a kickback later for the Vortex to meet Ashley. This is going to be interesting. As you already heard, Jordan is taking it upon himself to find a roommate for him and Spencer at the beach house because the rent is too expensive for him and Spencer to afford. Now that they are down 2 roommates. So Layla is going to help him do roommate interviews. That scene with Layla and Jordan was really cute. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't even like Michael like that. Michael was looking good. I was like, hello. Michael, you was looking good. I really like what they're doing this season with Coop's character. I feel like Coop has a purpose now. I just feel like for the last 2 seasons, after Coop got pum, you know, I felt like she just, I don't know. I just felt like they didn't know what to do with her character. But seeing her character to GAU and her taking these law classes and then, you know, Laura looks great. Laura guest lecturing and, you know, being her teacher. Like, it's good to see that her relationship with Laura is still good. You know, they still close. That whole interaction with Preach, Spencer, and Coop was very interesting. It gave, like, homies from the hood type situation, because you know they all grew up together, and you know they was in the same neighborhood or whatever. And so, you know, it's interesting to see Preach's involvement in the school. Is Preach a principal? Like, what's Preach's title? Or is he just an administrator, like a teacher? Is Grace the principal now that Billy ain't there no more? Like, who is? Because, you know, we will see scenes of Billy walk through the hall in school, his little walkie-talkie giving principal swag. So what's the tea? What's going on? I see that, like, the school, the district has cut some of the funding to some of the programs at Crenshaw. And so I know Grace was an administrator on the school board, but I wonder, like, is she now working specifically at Crenshaw? Like, is she, like, in the Crenshaw trenches? Like, is she, like, you know, like how Janine was doing with Abbott on Abbott Elementary before she quit her job? Is it like that? I'm just wondering. Because, you know, that makes me think about some things. Then, Spencer says to Coop and Preach, do y'all think that I'm selfish? And then he says to them, well, if I've been selfish or if I've been big-headed, why y'all ain't say nothing to me? And I like that, because in real friendships, your friends can hold you accountable without, like, you getting mad or without them saying something to offend you. I like that he said, like, why y'all ain't say nothing? He was like, but then on the other hand, y'all always telling me to finally go after what I want. Spencer was very much pick a side. Which one is it? And so, Cool was just like, you can do both, but just don't be a jerk going about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really liked the moment. I thought it was a cute, like, heart. It wasn't a heart to heart, but it was like a bonding moment. Like, let's keep it real. Like, let's chop it up type tea. Preach asked Spencer to go to Crenshaw to look at Dion in some of his practices, so that because he got some scouts coming today. He had 3 big scouts coming today, and you know, just to have a familiar face there to make him more comfortable. But by the conversation going on in the hallway, Dion's older sister, I'm assuming Dion lives with his older sister. We didn't get mention of the parents, so it looks like the sister is the sole guardian of Dion. And so she was on Dion's top about fumbling and not performing, you know. And she mentioned NIL money, so I'm guessing she looking to get out the hood. And she looking at her brother as a come up. That's the way it sounded. I'm not saying that's the case now, because we don't know this lady and we don't know Dion like that for real. But again, when I would check Twitter every now and then last night, I did see somebody saying, oh, we meet in Dion family. They setting us up for a spinoff for real. Y'all, I'm like 65-35 on it. I don't want no spinoff. But the 35% is if they give us a spinoff. If you're going to do a spinoff of this, it need to be done right, like for real. Like, we need all new storylines. We don't need the rehashing. We don't need Dion to be baby Spencer #2. That's not what we need. We don't need that. And that's all I can say for right now. I think that's all I got for right now. Besides Ashley being a guy. And like Leah said, Ashley is hot. And Jordan was like, I was expecting you to be a girl. You're nothing like I imagined. I'll be back, y'all. Okay, so Preach is adamant about this project and receiving funding from the program because this was the last thing that Billy asked him to do before he perished. So he's gone to ask Grace for her help because he knows that Grace has written grant proposals before, and Grace reluctantly agrees. She says that she doesn't have time, but Dylan says that he will help out more around the house so that Grace will have time. It's good to see Dylan. I feel like we haven't seen Dylan in so long, but now we done had Dylan for 2 episodes. So, hey Dylan. Spencer asks Preach about Dion and if his sister always puts pressure on him. Preach has been avoiding Dion's sister and trying to stay out the way because she's a lot. And so there's this whole thing where Spencer is probably gonna like closely have Dion under his wing, you know, just so he can make sure everything goes good. He tells Dion that everything's not gonna be perfect, and you know, he even uses the fact that he, you know, threw a tantrum on national TV, and you know, it wasn't his finest moment, but he's gonna power through and move past it. Dion starts having a panic attack while he's with Spencer, and so Spencer, you know, sees that this is happening and gives him breathing exercises to help calm him down. I think that's gonna open Spencer's eyes. Spencer, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Olivia finally got an iPhone. So Spencer and Olivia, well, Olivia called Spencer and Spencer denied the call, but I'm guessing she was calling Spencer to say, I'm having a kickback tonight. I want you to meet someone or whatever like that, but he didn't answer the phone. We saw Layla and Jordan interview a couple people. Not really interested in the whole finding a roommate storyline. I really don't care who moved into the beach house for real. Coop and Miss Baker kind of have a bumping of the heads because one of the cases that she is using to like teach the class some of the fundamentals in law, she uses patience as circumstance, but then changes the scenario a little bit. And Coop was, I don't want to say she was triggered by it, but I guess she was triggered by it because she was just like, don't you think it's, you know, out of pocket to be using Patience's case as an example here in class? Miss Baker said she didn't feel like it was, but Coop ain't feeling that, so I don't know how this is about to go between them in class. Yeah, that's about it that happened. I'll be back right finally to the meat and potatoes of it all. To the meat and potatoes of it all. So, before the shindig happens, little Miss Baker took it upon herself to call Spencer over so he can meet Ashley. And he was like, I got your voicemail. I got your voicemail, Miss Mamas. I got your voicemail. What's up? You want me to meet Ashley? And then Ashley come out the back. Spencer was like, oh, what's your pronouns again? What you go by? And he was like, he, him. And Ashley was like, I love how Americans are so respectful and ask before You know, just assuming things or whatever he said. And so, you know, he tried to make Spencer feel comfortable about him being there. But he was like, me and Liv used to stay up all night and watch your football games. You are such a good footballer. And then he was like, oh, well, she showed me some pieces from your art exhibit that you did on your grandparents. And I just want to say, like, you know, you did your thing. And so he dapped up, told me he appreciated it or whatever. And then Spencer gave Olivia a look and was like, yeah, he's here. He was like, but if you don't mind me asking, what inspired this impromptu trip? And then Ashley says, I just came to help Liv get across the finish line. And when he said that, I automatically knew Spencer was like jumping up and down on the inside. Okay, let's go. Shake the table. Shake the table. Shake the table. Olivia. Now, I know some people are going to be like, what's the problem? They just friends. Olivia and Spencer have tried this relationship thing a long time. So the fact that Olivia was entertaining a guy, even if it was harmless, because Layla said it herself, I may not have told you about Ryan, but Jordan knew about Ryan. Can you say the same about Ashley? Spencer did not know a thing about Ashley. So and you know, Spencer prides himself on supporting Liv and being there for Liv and them having open and honest communication. Open and honest communication. And so the fact that Liv did not want to come back and Spencer being her only reason for coming back, I just want the audience to take this into account, because I'm not saying that Olivia cannot have friends, but it's the way that Olivia went about having the friend and the things that she did, because she stayed an extra year. Like, and y'all know, like, Spencer is a very deep thinker. And then with him being a psychology major, like, he thinks about people's thoughts and their actions and the steps that they took to, you know, in their decision making. And so the same way that they had that whole home situation, in the same way how they feel like this whole home thing ain't been right. And then, not to mention, Olivia and Spencer's chemistry has been a little off. They usually are like Jordan and Layla, but they have not been. It just seems like they've been going through the motions. But Spencer is trying to give Liv her space to get back accustomed to being back in Beverly Hills or being back in LA. So this whole impromptu trip from Ashley, this whole Ashley calling and Ashley texting and hurry up and coming back, and her not wanting to be here, in LA, and then, her extending her trip a year. It's looking a little shiesty, people. I know the Spellivious is gonna be pissed. I can't wait to hear what Victor gonna say when his review come out. He gonna be so mad. He is gonna be so mad. But it's looking shiesty. Even if that wasn't her intentions. And then now, they don't have no room to talk about it because they about to have a kickback. See? Way to tug at our wigs, all American writers. Way to tug at our wigs, because that's exactly what's happening. Now, I don't know if anything serious is going to come from this whole Ashley and Liv being friends thing. But it's just the way that it was set up. It was set up to look trifling. And it looks trifling. And then, like, Reed and Spencer face, Spencer is not pleased. Spencer is not pleased. And the thing is, everybody said something to Liv. Jordan said something. Layla said something twice. And it may not be like that because, you know, Ashley was very respectful. And he wanted Spencer to feel comfortable. But it's the same way how it was when... It's kind of like how when Liv was friends with Noah. Whatever happened to Noah? You know, and she tried to use Noah to make Spencer jealous. And she tried to throw Noah all in his face. I ain't saying she trying to throw... Okay, maybe that's not a good comparison. Because she not throwing Ashley in Spencer's face. But it's the fact that, like, you know what? When she was throwing Noah in Spencer's face, she ain't had no regard for Noah like that. But she hid Ashley. Why? When you in a long-distance, long-term relationship, not mentioning people don't come off looking the best. Not to say that she was being sneaky because I don't know the backstory. And I don't know what her intentions were. And I don't know how her relationship was with Ashley while they were in London, because we are not privy to none of that, because this is a whole year. So her and Ashley have been friends and have been close and her bestie for over a year now. And then Spencer, and then she didn't come home in between time. We got a lot to unpack. I can't wait to hear what Erica Fain gonna say too. Woo! A lot to unpack. But I'll be back, guys. Okay, y'all. It's the language. It's the language that is being used in this scenario that has, like, everybody in a frenzy. Did that man just refer to her as my Olivia? And then, okay, before I get there, oh, so much to unpack. Okay, so Spencer gave Liv his initial reaction. But when Spencer got up to fix him a plate, Liv got up and went over there towards him and was like, well, why did you keep this away from me? He was like, anytime you mention Ashley, and I always said she, you never corrected me. There was plenty of time for you to correct me, and I know you noticed that I didn't use the correct pronouns. So why didn't you tell me about Ashley? And she was just like, I don't know, it wasn't on purpose. I just want to know, I guess, what is Liv hiding? What is she hiding? Because when everybody, okay, Jordan and Layla got up because they just felt awkward and they left. And then Spencer got up because he got a text from Dion and he said he had something to do. And he had already told Olivia at the counter that he would talk to her another time about it. This was not the space to talk about it. So now we're not going to get the discussion this episode because I think this happened almost at the end of the episode. So she goes and she walks off, and she's walking like she got that to me. She has that guilt walk, like, oh my God, I did it now. So she's walking back to the table, and she sit down, and, you know, like I said, everybody starts leaving, and so then it's just her and Ashley. So I'm not going to say that Ashley didn't give her good advice about what was going on, because as a friend, he did. And Liv is feeling like she may have bitten off more than she could chew with this book, especially emotionally. And in 1 year, especially if you lost a parent, I just don't feel like 1 year is long enough to have grieved a person and to have gotten over. You know, you're still healing, and it's still a fresh wound, you know. So she said she went to London initially to get over the death of her father. It was a very emotional time for her. And so I think her staying helped her, I guess, to stay sober, especially with her having Ashley there to help her deal with her emotions. And so they became close. Now, it's just the language that the writers have chosen to use in the expelling of these feelings back and forth between Olivia and Ashley. Because he uses terms such as my Olivia, and she uses terms such as, I hate that you know me so well. She was like, I hate that you can read me. Like, you know, these are things, and it wouldn't be a problem if that wasn't like similar language that she used towards Spencer. And I think that's the biggest hang up with all of it. Like, okay, you know, it would be different, you know, if she just failed to mention Ashley being her close friend, and Ashley was just like giving homeboy vibes. But Ashley's not necessarily giving the homeboy vibe. Like, you know, it would be different if he was like out with them, and then, you know, they went out and he was hitting on another woman, and you know, stuff like that. But that's not the venue that all of this is happening. You know, this is not the venue that all this is happening. He was just like, this is not, you know, you seem so different. Like, you seem so different here. You know, like he's taking notice of the things that is happening to her the way Spencer would. You know, like Spencer even asked her a couple times, like, are you okay? You know, like in the last couple episodes, he asked her, are you okay? Do you feel like this is home? Is there anything off with us? Like, is there anything going on? And so I'm guessing like Spencer created a space for her to have open and honest communication. And it's, you know, not just when they say, okay, we're going to be honest with each other. You know, typically it usually didn't have to be like that. Honest, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, unless it was like real deep, you know what I mean? Like they hadn't been paying attention to each other or something like that. But like typically, you know, hers, like all that time, even when they was friends, her and Spencer would just kick it, and you know, she would spill the beans to him, and he was there for her, to comfort her, you know, support her, all of that. But it's seeming like Ashley is taking Spencer's place, I guess, as the friend, not so much the relationship part. Does that make sense? That's how I'm kind of processing it. Like, you know, and then them same steps that Ashley is taking, or the same way that her relationship with Ashley, that's how I used to be with Spencer. And so I feel like Spencer is kind of feeling a little replaced. Well, I can't say he feels totally replaced right now, but it's looking like she replaced Spencer with Ashley. And then why was she says that she doesn't know why she never mentioned. She says she doesn't know why she never mentioned Ashley to Spencer. And she was like, I promise there's nothing going on. I promise there was no reason why. It wasn't purposely done. But he was like, but even when I came to London, you never mentioned. And I wonder if that's why they spent the 3 days in the house. You know, stuff. It's making you think about some things that happened in the beginning, because when we did see that throwback scene in Spencer, she was like, you know, this was her time getting ready to go. And Spencer was there to help her get her stuff and pack her stuff. And then, you know, like, she ended up not wanting to leave. And then Spencer was like, why? And then, you know, going back to her listening to Ashley tell her the advice, like, she was like, you know, after I had a conversation with Miss Grace, that unlocked some feelings that there was a really emotional time. And she said, I felt like all the work that I had did in London was going to unravel, and almost lost it all. And then he was just like, okay. And if you got to have another moment, have that moment. I mean, he was right, you know, because that's how you deal with grief. You can't just avoid grief. If things come up and truths happen, you're bound to find out those truths anyway. It's just all on how you handle it. Especially with her wanting to write this book all of a sudden. And so it's just interesting. It is interesting because Spencer said that he felt he can trust Olivia. He told Coop that. But now I feel like because she didn't say anything, that makes his trust waver. You know what I mean? So, I'll be back, y'all. It's almost over. That last scene, yeah. Their relationship is different. I knew I wasn't off about feeling the way. I knew I wasn't off about feeling the way that I felt. Like, it's one thing, you know, like, I know there's some discord about Olivia all the time and how people don't want Spencer and Olivia together. But honestly, I'm feeling like Spencer and Olivia may have outgrown each other. Or Olivia might have outgrown Spencer. I don't know. But for real, like, let me just say, I'm glad women can wear their hair in bonnets on camera now, and they don't just be going to bed with their hair loose, because like for the longest time on TV, black women have gone to bed with just their hair loose and ain't put no scarf on, no bonnet on, or nothing. And like we always do. But anyway, besides that, the roommates that Layla and Jordan Pitt are dysfunctional. That decision is gonna come back and bite them in the butt. But back to what I was saying about Olivia and Spencer. It's just different. Like, Spencer asked her, they know they needed to talk, but they decided to, maybe they try to get a temperature check of each other. He was like, do you want to talk about what's going on with the book? And she was like, no, I think I got the clarity I needed. And then she was like, do you want to talk about what's ever going on the field between you and Jordan? And he was like, no, I think I got the clarity I needed. And then they both just turned over and stared into space because both of them feel away and they're not saying anything. And again, I just feel like that's not typical. And I just want to know, like, I just hope that with the way the writers are painting this right now, I hope that the story makes sense and it's not just to like trick the viewer into thinking something and then it's just never addressed again, or it just doesn't happen. But they not on the same page, and it's felt that way ever since Liv has come back. So what is going to happen from here? Because he asked her, does she know how long Ashley is going to be in town for? And she was like, honestly, I don't know. And now as a viewer, because Spencer asked her that, and she didn't initially tell Spencer about Ashley. Can you believe that she don't know how long Ashley is going to be there? Or does she seriously not have a clue? Like, it kind of, was done to make the audience not believe her. I'm sorry, y'all. But, it's kind of, I wonder if they kind of, did it on purpose to not make the audience trust her. Especially because, a lot of people have a disdain for Olivia sometimes. I'm ready to know, like, what exactly is going on with Olivia. I feel like we're 5 episodes in, and now that they are going to have 15 episodes this season, I'm interested to know, like, I'm sorry, y'all, they're out there cutting the grass. I'm interested to know, like, what's going to happen. Are things going to work out, especially with this possibly maybe being the last season for the original cast? And then, Spencer had a conversation with Dylan about, him getting into psychology because he likes helping people. And, if he goes into the draft, will he be able to help people? And then, Ashley kind of had something similar to say with Liv about her art. He was like, as artists, it's our job to try to make people, feel, and understand. I'm sorry, y'all. It's a whole lot going on outside right now, for real. With them cutting and we eating this grass. But, because Liv talked to Ashley about, how the art exhibit was supposed to help him process his feelings about his grandfather and his connection to his grandfather. And then the book is supposed to be the same way for Liv, to help her. And the same with Spencer, Dylan talking to Spencer about him having help and helping people, and with him not finishing school and going into the league, with that's like it's throwing off his dream. When Spencer could really just go pro and in the off season work as a therapist And then, you know, for them few months. And then when it's time to go back to training camp, he lock in and do football again. So, you know, it's just different ways that things can happen. Lord. But yeah, it's just different ways, you know, different ways things can happen. And I'm just interested to see how this is all going to play out. I did see the preview about them supposed to be going to the cabin and how it ended up being a vortex type trip again. It don't seem like Asher and Jamie went though, but it do seem like Liv and Spence went, Patience and Coot went, and then Jordan and Layla went. So, you know, for some reason the cabin is a place where the real tea comes out. So I'm looking forward to this episode, the next episode being a lot to digest. Meaning we're probably going to learn a lot of information. Because as far as Liv living in London, we don't really know everything that took place in London. So are we going to find out this in this episode? We never knew the extent of her relationship with Ashley. Why she didn't say anything. We never really knew how she really processed her grief of Billy, or, you know, viewed her process of grieving Billy. We just saw what we saw last season. That's all we saw. And so with this whole year transpiring and going by off screen without us seeing some things, you know, it leaves a lot of room for a lot of dialogue and to, you know, dive into how the characters feel and what they're thinking. So yeah, y'all. I think that's all I have for episode 5. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be back next week with episode 6. Deuces.